Campaign Group have launched a petition calling for COVID restrictions on care homes to be lifted in line with the rest of the country. Rights for residents say the loneliness and isolation felt by older people is not taken into account when communities are suddenly locked down without warning. They're due to protest outside the gates of Downing Street a little later on today. Co-founder of Rights for Residents, Diane Mayhew, joins us on the programme. Very good morning, Diane.
Good morning,
I wonder
Neil.
if you could just...
Thank you for having me.
No, our pleasure, our pleasure. I wonder if you could just set out exactly what the issue is around care homes. Clearly, a lot of people will have family and friends in there and may already be aware, but there's another swathe of the population who are not. So just identify the problems that this petition is wanting to see addressed.
Of course, Neil. Well, since the 19th of July, when Boris announced Freedom Day, all restrictions in society were lifted. So nobody has to wear masks anymore. They don't have to, they can go to festivals, they can go on holiday, they can go to nightclubs, they can do all the things that they did before the pandemic. But unfortunately, people who live in care, and I might add it's not just the elderly, there are a lot of young people who live in care who've got disabilities or learning difficulties. There are children who are in care, and they are subject to very harsh visiting restrictions. They don't have holidays to look forward to. They can't really, go out and enjoy the freedoms that everybody else in society is having. And what happened was the government did acknowledge that every resident has the right to nominate an essential visitor who has a unique relationship with that person and a shared history, because they recognise that during the pandemic and lockdown, the mental health and well-being of these people was affected through loneliness and isolation. They've also said in the guidance that they can have other members of the family go and visit as named visitors, but unfortunately, it's at the care home's discretion. And what Rights for Residents are finding are that care homes are just refusing to allow this for various reasons. We've got some care homes that are saying that it's appointment only and it's subject to availability. So when people are ringing up to try and get an appointment, they're finding that all the appointments are taken, and these 15-minute visits may only happen once every 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not happening as the government intended, and that's why we're protesting outside Downing Street today, because it is an abuse of their human rights, it's discriminatory, it's unequal, and we just feel that you cannot exclude a group of people just because they live in a care home. Either it's safe to not have any restrictions, or it's not. And the thing is,
Diane, sorry to interrupt, but without, we can't obviously mention any names of specific care providers. And thank you as well for making the point about care homes being for more than just older people. That's a point well taken and well made. Why are they doing this? Obviously, part of it will be concern about the health of their residents. But is this, in your mind, an attempt to avoid perhaps legal responsibility for anything that happens to people within their care?
To be honest, no, I don't think it is that, Neil, because there are some care home providers who are allowing it and they're doing it safely. So if that was the issue, then it would be the same across the board, and we're not finding that. A care home manager who is allowing visits and essential visitors said the other day, live on TV, that he has found essential visitors extremely helpful because they are allowed in even during an outbreak. And during an outbreak, they can then entertain their loved one and provide the emotional support that they haven't got the time to do. So while they're getting on with the personal care, then they found this to be a great help, because don't forget, they've got staff shortages as well. So I think that they need to stop seeing relatives as a potential source of infection and start seeing them as how they can help the carers. It's just... For example, sadly, my mother-in-law, who was in a home, passed away on the 2nd of August. But Jenny and I, my partner, also co-founder of Rights for Residents, we were essential visitors. And the impact that had, because she deteriorated through lockdown, she was a shadow of her former self. And it was too late in some ways. We couldn't get her back. But what we could do is we could, you know, reminisce. We'd try and reminisce. I used to do her nails. We used to sing to her. We'd show her photo. We'd feed her and make sure she got the fluids that she needed, because no matter how wonderful the carers are, they don't have the time to offer emotional support. And that's why Ruthie Henshaw, who's our ambassador, she sadly had to watch her mother fade away through a window. It's just inhumane, Neil. And, you know, what we're calling for today is for the government to ensure that every resident has a legal right, because the guidance is advisory and it's not working. So the only way we can protect them moving forward is if that's made legal.
Diane, I'm very pleased to hear that you and your partner managed to get to spend that time together with your mother-in-law. But I am really sorry for your loss. You're handing that petition into Downing Street a little later on today. I know the Prime Minister's got quite a lot on his hands at the moment, but I'm hoping he might be able to pop out and just say a quick hello. Diane Mayhew from Rights for Residents, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you.